What is even going on here?
How are they doing this?
These trolleys are just having trolley babies.
Very shagadelic, baby. Yeah.
Welcome back, guys, to Sex, Drugs, and Space Trucking. This week we're going to look at an in-depth view in how trading is coming about in 3.18, what to expect, and the history behind trading. Where did this all start? Where did it all come from? And what has the impact of trading had to the game so far? So with 3.18 looming and the revival, really, of trading, because it has been dead for a long time, we thought I'd go back and have a little bit of a history on what trading used to be, because I know there's a lot of new players that have no idea what trading used to be like. I think most people kind of fell into two categories of trading back in the day. There's kind of a bit of a trade triangle between time, risk, and reward, where we had a lot of 30Ks, so you either fell into two categories. You were a Laranite runner, where you were risking that big bucks for that big return, but you're always stressing about that 30K, or you're like me, who wanted to be a bit more chill, take a little bit of the risk off, and run that Daymar run. So most people would do the Laranite run, because it was big money back then. You'd put in about 3 mil, you'd get about a mil return. I think it was about 3 mil, probably about 2 mil. And you'd do your Laranite run from Walla to Microtech, and hope that it wasn't a 30K that was gonna dunk on your day. So I found a little loophole with this one too. This was really, really fun. If you actually had set your spawn point at Genie Point, you picked up your cargo at Walla, and you got all the way to Microtech, but you didn't call in at the ATC, you sold your cargo, then offed yourself, you'd actually spawn back at Genie Point, get the cat back, and it would be refueled, because the price of fuel used to be really expensive. So flying all the way back and then refueling, you were actually losing money and time, and it was actually quicker just to off yourself at Microtech and land back at Genie Point and get your ship back. But the majority of the times, I like the less risky option. Well, I mean, kind of, because we're going to the realm of pirates now. Oh well, some people call them pirates. I call them, borderline reefers, because the other run that I used to take was from PO to Daymar, where I'd pick up some titanium and do a 10-minute round trip and make probably about 100K every 10 minutes, which is amazing because you could make about $1 million in an hour.
That's $74 million.
It's $1 million, Glenn.
Yeah, in human dollars.
You were incredible at math.
So, the only problem with this is that every pirate and his dog was hanging around PO. So you had to come in sideways and hot, jump out of that ship, bolt up the stairs, and then try and claim it before someone pad rammed you into non-existence. So, and I liked those days. I felt that trading back in those days had a lot more risk. There was a lot more, fun involved, because you didn't know whether the server was just going to 30K next second, or you were just going to get pad rammed, or someone was just going to run into your ship and blow up your cargo of Laranite. So it was really, really fun in that sense. I think there was a lot of other people out there that had a bit of a cry about it when their ships got blown up on the pads, and I don't agree with pad ramming, but I do understand back then there wasn't really many options for pirates. Now, this is kind of where we come to the other side of the trading, which is the nefarious side, which I actually enjoyed. It was actually how I made my first mill, was doing the old drug run from Daymar to Reclam Indisposable. You'd take a honey's worth of drugs, and you'd sit there and wait for every single server tick and sell those drugs. It used to take forever, but eventually you'd sell it and make a hefty profit. Again, 30Ks were a thing, so you'd want to sell quickly. And this was also the day where if you weren't careful, Widow would ruin your life. Because all those people that get into the drug trade didn't actually know that Widow, it couldn't be sold anywhere, not in large quantities. Just didn't know that. They'd go and sell it at Grim Hex, and yeah, you'd be there for days. But then we come to the other part, the other big impact that trade has had the verse, which is Jumptown. I mean, back in the day, Jumptown was just a normal another drug place. You could pick up some drugs, different types of drugs, and then go sell them somewhere else. But then a bug came out, and I believe it was 3.6. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if it isn't 3.6, but I believe it was about 3.6, where when they rolled that patch out, it tweaked the drugs at Jumptown to being that it was buying at a really low price, but selling at a really high price. And it's had an adverse effect because all these traders with their cats just flocked to Jumptown, and the pirates were sitting there going, I can ruin some people's day to day. So that's how Jumptown actually started. It was just a complete glitch. So all those people that are out there saying that, you know, Star Citizen's buggy and whatnot like that, remember, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer. This is so much cancer that I can feel the tumors growing on my back.
But that's how Jumptown came about. And I think without trading and that little glitch, we would never have had Jumptown, which is a great event right now. And it's only getting better with 318, being that, you know, there's multiple entrances into the bunker itself now. I think we do need a bigger ship to take on the A2 because that just demolishes everybody. So it would like to see the Perseus or the Polaris in there to be able to, you know, take out an A2 if it came about. But, you know, the Jumptown wars of the old made the Jumptown of the new today, and probably actually really got CIG thinking about dynamic events. So we have a lot to owe to traders and trading, even though everyone calls us the sweaty trader boys. But, you know, trade did actually develop a lot of things in this game and made CIG think outside the box on what the players actually can do themselves as opposed to what CIG mandates they do. So that brings us to 312, which I believe is where trade kind of died. I mean, trade has kind of been, you know, not a legal trade, but normal trade has been here and there from time to time. We've seen a couple of things come in that, you know, has kind of boosted trade, a little couple of glitches. But about 312 is when CIG really capped down the prices. I called it the Great Price Drop, or the Great Depression of trading. And there wasn't a much margin for the time that was put in for trading and the risk that was put in for trading. So you saw a lot of people just drop off from, you know, playing the trading game at all. The other thing is this coincided with linking commodities, so it became really hard to sell commodities as well. So whilst the price of commodities were high, the selling price was low and there just wasn't a margin for it. And so people just decided to go mining or do other things that made much more profit. And I believe this coincided with a couple of the mining things that were tech that came out, and CIG wanted people to flow over to that. And it was CIG's way of pushing people there, which I don't think is really, really necessary. People that do mining love it, and they'll test that to to the ends of the earth. And they're probably more likely to actually talk about it and report bugs than people that you push to do mining because they're just trying to get some money. And then we had the sad truth, which was the cold hard death of drugs. So the drug trade in Star Citizen just totally died. I think even now in 317 you can't even sell to Jumptown, and I think the only other place you can sell to is Mikkel 4 or 5, and even then you sell at a loss, not a gain. So the drug trade's completely gone. I think it's pretty much been gone since 312. I haven't seen it. It was really, really buggy 312, and then from then on it just kind of completely died. However, this brings us to 318. Whilst trade has really got a buff, I believe trade is kind of similar to the rest of 317. There is more commodities to trade, and there is a little bit more margin there to entice people to do more trade. However, it has made a bit more of a dynamic feel to it, being that there's added risk. I believe with added risk there should be added reward, which is why I believe they kind of increase the price margins that you can actually make on these trades. However, the big addition to this was the revival of the drug trade. We have tested this in 3.18 and it does work, and I'm actually glad, I'm so glad that I can go back in, jump on my pirate account, and I might actually be on my pirate account for the whole of 3.18 just because there's an ability for people to actually make money doing those drug runs, and it is good money. It's about what we used to make doing normal drug trades. I think I made about a 200k just on one drug trade, so it's really cool that that's there. Hopefully that's mixed in with more police running around trying to catch you, maybe some other gameplays where players can actually act as, you know, sheriffs and go around and scan your ship and maybe see if you're being nefarious or not. But I'm really happy that that's back in the verse, and it's really cool to see it back because I love that. It was just a really lax way, but kind of risky way to make a bit of money. However, I would like to see with 3.18 that even though I know everyone knows where the drug houses are and where the Referral disposables are, I would like to see them gone. Like, I hate the fact that you can just jump straight to them. I know that everyone was like, oh, you know, everyone knows where they are, so just make them points. But there's still something kind of cool about the fact that you had to navigate via, you know, the shape of the terrain to be able to zone in on the drug labs, or you needed to know exactly what island Referral Disposable was on so you could actually zone in on that, as opposed to just, you know, flying straight there. I think that would be cool to get rid of those, even though everyone knows where they are. It's just a little bit, feels a little bit more outside the realm of legality. If you're doing these, you know, nefarious things, they're not supposed to be things that you're supposed to easily be able to get to. So I like the fact that you had to actually find it. And with the new reshader, I think it actually would be harder to find these drug labs that there used to be than the old shader, because all the terrain is kind of, you know, the whole environment's kind of changed, so it doesn't look the same from outer space as you're flying in. But anyway, I am so glad that is out there. We have got 3.17.5 coming in to the verse. That's really exciting. It's going to come up a few things. However, I don't see a lot of people playing this because, again, I think the one thing that's driven a lot of people away from 3.18 or even the verse as it is at the moment is that there is a wipe coming in 3.18. So not many people are playing because they don't see the point in playing until 3.18 comes out. And I mean, with the Lunar New Year packages, I don't see anyone using that gameplay as a really cool thing because there's not much, you know, reward to run around. It might be a cool thing to pick up and have a look at once, but I mean, you don't get to keep the money, so there's not much point getting in and doing it. I know there's other people out there just having fun and doing what they like, but I think once 3.18 gets in there, we'll see a massive induction of people coming back to the verse. Anyway, that's it for me this week. Hopefully you guys tune in on Friday for our Around the Verse TV show, where we have a bit of fun with the ship reviews. We talk about a bit of other news around the verse, including orgs and what like that. And we have a little other funny skits and what like that. So it's a different kind of vibe to this. It is very much fun to go check it out. I will be on streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. However, I probably won't be streaming Star Citizen at this stage because of my PC dying. So I do apologize for that. However, we've got new PC on the way. The gear will be set up soon. So hopefully we'll be back to streaming Star Citizen. Until then, I'll see you guys around the verse.